YouTube, what's going on, man? It's your boy Xerxes coming back at you with another one. It's been a minute since I posted a video. Kind of done with Trade League, so decided that I wanted to jump into SSF and start a character. So that's what we got here. We have a level 96 Frostblade's Trickster with some pretty solid gear on. So we'll go over the gear after the map showcase. I'm just going to run a T16 Mesa here just to kind of show you guys what the build looks like in its current state. So we'll do that. Go into Wildwood, see if we can't find the king. Luckily, we finally found him and killed him the other day for our last charm. So that was a pain in the ass that's finally over. So let's see what we can get in here, and then we'll show you guys the rest of the map. The build is feeling very good right now. POB, which I will include. I POB'd it last night after I got done playing, and my DPS is somewhere around 20 million, I believe, right now, which is pretty respectable for SSF, at least in my opinion it is. So this is the first league that I've ever actually really gone like pretty deep on SSF, and I gotta tell you, man, I'm having an absolute blast with it. It's been super fun. Okay, not the craziest juice, but it is what it is. Let's cruise through here, blow some shit up. I will talk kind of about my Atlas strategy that I used to get the gear that I have now too. We'll talk about that after the video, or after the map showcase, excuse me. I've gone through a couple of different iterations of what I've been running, you know, because the goal was to, obviously I wanted to get a yoke, I wanted to get a heat shiver, and I wanted to get a lethal pride. And so, as you can see, all of those have been acquired. Heat shiver, yoke, and lethal pride. So we're cruising right along. So I started off, when I first got to maps, I did Essence and Legion. And Legion is a very good way to get a 6-link because you're going to get those Geomancers incubators that have, you know, a 6-link armor item. And the very first one I got was a Zodiac Leather, so that definitely helped with the progression a lot. So started there, obviously started essences so I could use some hatred essences to try and craft my my claw. I got a pretty solid claw too. Like I said, I'll go over all the gear here afterwards, but that's at least the progression that I started with. And then now I'm running Abyss just to try and get some currency drops and just all kinds of random drops. Abyss is super good for just shitting out a ton of monsters into the map, so that's what I've been doing now. And the build can finally handle a little bit more juice than it could before. Oh, we got an Spire, nice. This is the first time I've actually gotten a Spire, so let's kill these fools. We're taking the Abyss nodes where you have a chance to drop like a 5 implicit, or not implicit, but a Abyss Jewel with 5 suffixes and prefixes and shit. Can't talk. Yeah, the build is extremely zoomy. Rolled all my flasks last night to finally automate, which is nice. That's the one thing that always throws me off whenever I'm playing like a SSF build or like a new character, is like having to piano the flask buttons. I'm so used to just having everything automated that it's a little bit of like a reminder, like, oh yeah, hey, you actually need to use your flask, you know. But once you get into the end game, they're automated and you don't got to worry about it. The only one that I do manually is my life flask and my movement speed flask. Oh, this should be a tough one. Let's see if we can even do this. That's what, some of these get a little crazy, but we'll see. No problem. I say no problem. I mean, it took a little bit of time, but we get a shit ton of essences out of that. So essences are good. If if you're just progressing on, like, don't take all of the essence nodes, or don't juice your maps with the league content until you can actually do it. That's one thing I did. I took a couple of the essence nodes, and then was running a lot of my maps just with no juice from the league mechanic, just because it would make them insanely hard to kill. So there's the T16 map done. Let's go back and I'll show you how I built the character. Okay, so like I said, to start things off, when I first started mapping, I went up and took these essence nodes, came up through here, and then I came down and took these legion nodes, took these ones. This is actually a really good one to have early on when your damage isn't that good. It makes the legions a little bit take longer, but you're actually going to get to kill them and get the rewards from them. So I went up here, took this, and then I went up here and took these to get the chance for the emblem drops, because you're ultimately going to want to be doing 4 or 5 ways to get your lethal pride. So I went there and took those, and then I just kind of slowly worked my way around, and I think I took some of these essence nodes next, and then I went up and took these and all of this stuff too. So that's how I started. Okay, and then once I had a 6 link, then I moved on to, I kept this for a while, actually all the way until I got my lethal pride, and then I dropped all of the legion nodes. But you're going to get a ton of currency just by doing legion and essence in your maps. So that's how I started off. And currently now, I'm blocking a couple of things. I'm blocking ultimatum, I'm blocking blight. Oh, and that was the other thing too, is that you're going to need gold oils for your yoke anoint. And so anytime a blight's in the map, don't skip them and just do them. See if you can get some blighted maps. And then that's what I did. I had like 3 or 4 blighted maps, ran those, and I ended up getting a golden oil in 2 of them. And so once I had that, I was able to unspec out of blight, just because I don't like the blight mechanic. So this is just what I'm doing. I'm not saying that this is the right way to do anything, but this is just how I did it. Okay, so now I'm spec'd into Abyss, Essence, and Red Altars. I did need the red altars for my gloves and for my boots, right? So getting brittle ground is very important, and getting the strike skills is very important as well. So I've been running red just to get a little stockpile of the red ones. Eventually I will switch over to the blue once I have a little bit better gear. But so that covers like the tree and how I spec'd into the tree at first. Okay, so we'll zoom out and you guys can look at this if you want to copy this at some point if you're getting deep into the SSF league. Again, I don't know if this is the best or most accurate way to do it, but this is just what I've been doing. Okay, so we will go over the gear now. So the claw, since it's very hard to find a fractured attack speed claw in SSF, I think what the best thing to do is use your essences and do the suffixes first. And so what I did, because normally you'd have the attack speed fracture, and then you try and go for hatred essence with like either flat fizz damage or increased fizz. It's just really hard to hit that. And you also, right now I have every map done except for the one that gives you prefixes can't be changed. So I don't have that, but I do have suffixes can't be changed, right? So what I did was I rolled with attack speed essences, and then it actually ended up hitting crit chance and crit multiplier. So I was like, okay, I had a couple of divines, so I'm going to do suffixes can't be changed, and then veiled chaos, and I ended up hitting the pin with fire damage, and then I just crafted on cold damage. So for SSF, this is actually a pretty solid claw. So that's how I got that. The heat shiver dropped out of an abyss for me. The yoke I actually chanced, so I just took an onyx amulet with a bunch of I say a bunch, it actually only took me 5, which is giga lucky, right? But just scour and chanced and scour and chanced, and I got it on my 5th one, which is kind of crazy. So the shield is just one that I found on the ground that had suppress with some decent rolls. So found that and just crafted on fire and chaos. The one thing to note is that, ideally you need, I believe it's 38%. It's 38% suppress on your gear. So I have 18 and 15, which is 33, and then I have another 9 here. So I'm actually a little over capped on suppress, but ideally in a perfect world you'd want 19 and 19, but that's hard to get in SSF. So you're gonna maybe have to have suppress on one other piece of gear. So we did the claw, we did that, we did this. In the meantime, before you get gold oils, just anoint Divine Judgment. Should be a little bit easier. I believe it's like a sepia, teal, and black. So that's what I anointed first, and until I had the gold oils. Okay. Um, that covers all these. The chest is a zodiac leather that I found through the Geomancer's incubators. I rolled that with some chaos essences until I got suppress. Called that good. And then these are just some amethyst rings that I rolled myself. I pretty much just did. I think I used the suffering essence on this one, and then this one I used the chaos, or I used chaos on the harvest bench to get chaos res there. So as you can see, all of my resistances are capped at 75, which is huge. Okay, so these I just rolled myself. The gloves, I found these with attack speed. No, that's not true. I actually rolled these with chaos res essences as well. And then I ended up hitting, like, I think that's tier 1 lightning res, tier 1 chaos. I hit T2 attack speed. And then I used Eldritch Annul because it had one prefix on it. So I took that off, and then I just like slammed a couple of exalts on there and hit that and called that good. Another thing to note too is with Abyss, you're going to want to go to the Abyssal Depths and try and get yourself a Darkness Enthroned. This is the first one that I found, and it was at 89%. I've gotten 3 more, and they were all shitty rolls. And you can see in here, there's another Geomancer's Incubator that I have in here. So until you get this, just a regular Stygian Vise would be good. I believe I have where did I put them? In my jewelry tab, wherever the hell that is. Why can't I see? I know one of these says jewelry. Oh, it's this one. Just a regular Stygian Vise with a good Abyss Jewel in there. I have a couple that I've rolled myself that are pretty solid. This is cold to attacks, claw attacks, life, and attack speed. And then this one is just a bunch of damage to claw attacks, and then the attack speed if you've dealt a crit recently. So these are all pretty good. This one I rolled with crit on the harvest bench. And then these are just some boots that I found that had suppress and the resistances that I needed. In terms of flasks, I'm just using for mapping, I'm using a Quicksilver with movement speed. And then whenever I do harder content, I put in a Stibnite flask for even more evasion. Life with corrupted blood immunity, a silver flask. You can mix and match the suffixes on here, but these are the 3 suffixes that you're going to be looking for. Increased evasion rating. And then I have a jade flask with crit chance, and then I have a diamond flask with attack speed. And these are all set up to use when charges reach full and gain charges when you crit, except for this one I need to reroll. Okay, so that covers all of the gear. Let's go over the passive tree. So Zish has a guide on Frostblade's leveling. I just followed his for this league and kind of mix and matched a couple of things for SSF that I needed. But it's all pretty standard stuff. You just go and get elemental focus is really good. I think when I first started, I came here. I went down, came over here, and then I got the strike skills. I got the mana leech, and then I started getting, once I was in like Act 3 or 4, I started getting some of the claw nodes and accuracy nodes. So you can, anoint these as you see fit, but this is the way that I did it. And then I also did have these suppress nodes allocated before until I got suppress capped. So that's another way to get some suppress. Like I said, I will include the POB so you guys can take a look at it. We'll go over the charms right now, I guess. This is a fortify on hit, crit multi per power charge charm, damage pin with Ellie res, and then elusive effect and crit multi crit chance against burning and shocked. So not too bad for SSF. Ideally, I would like to have a can't be stunned while fortified charm. Haven't found that one yet. I do have a no extra damage from crits one in here somewhere while elusive. So this one I put on if I'm doing harder content as well, or anything that has like really high crit chance that could kill you. I'll put this one on. You lose a little bit of damage, but it's a lot of survivability, so it's nice to have. And that pretty much covers everything, I believe. In terms of the ascendancy, I believe first I took one step ahead, then I took, I don't know if I took Polymath or Swift Killer next. It was one of these two, and then obviously you want to take Heartstopper last. So that covers that. I think that's everything for the build, guys. So If you have any questions or anything like that on the build, feel free to drop a comment down below. I'd be happy to help out anywhere that I can. And with that, we'll leave the video there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.